big beat on margin outlook. You're stepping up buybacks. You've laid off 10% of the workforce. What else is factoring into this forward-looking outlook?
Well, Emily, it's great to be with you as always. And I'll tell you that, look, we're just getting started here at Salesforce. And we have reignited our performance culture. You're right. We've taken drastic actions. And well, you can see the results are just incredible in the quarter. We've really made an incredible transformation here at Salesforce. You can see 29.2% margin for the quarter. You can see we hit record revenue levels, $8.4 billion. We're now one of the very largest software companies in the world. And you saw the record cash flow for the year, $7.1 billion. These incredible financial performances is really the result of the great work of all our Ohana, our employees here at Salesforce. And they've done a great job. And we're continuing to deliver great results for our shareholders, as you can see from the results from today.
Shares are up 18% after hours. But look, you are in a very unusual situation here. You've got 5 different activist investors who've taken stakes in the company, and they have big demands. And I know it's not fun when you have to lay anyone off, but will there be more layoffs?
Well, you're right. We have all these great new investors. There was certainly an atypical moment in the market last year where a lot of folks had the opportunity to enter the equity. And I've really enjoyed working with so many of them and listening to them and getting their ideas. And, I love learning from everyone. And I have to tell you, one of them has been incredible for us. He's been around for a while at Salesforce, probably last year. He was at Dreamforce. I think you saw him. He was at our investor day. Mason Morfitt of Value Act Capital. He was sitting there with his founder, Jeff Ubben, incredible people. And then when we really started talking with Mason to really hear his ideas on distribution strategy and pricing strategy, and also at Mason's, a lot of it, he was on the board of Microsoft for 5 years, so his incredible expertise in our industry, which is really special. We are like, we would love to bring him onto the board, and that's what we did. And that's a great example where activists can add a lot of value to your company, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have him as part of our Ohana.
But what about the layoff question? Are you expecting more headcount reduction in the future, whether it's because of the activist investors or, a very difficult global economic situation that we all find ourselves in?
Well, let me explain to you actually the real story, which is that in calendar year 2021, the tech industry, including Salesforce, had the best year we've ever had. You know that. You covered it really well. Everyone had a record performance, including Salesforce. The fourth quarter of fiscal year 22, which was that last quarter of 2021, Emily, that was like our best quarter of all time. But then you know what the story is of 2022 as well, where we started to see unusual market conditions, currency changes. We also started to see inflation. We saw this dramatic stock market reduction, all these various things. And that is when all of a sudden 2022 was not like 2021, and the surge of employment and all the things we did to invest for 2022 that never really showed up. So yeah, you're right. We have made changes to our company to reflect the current market conditions and to really, make sure that not only we continue to have great performance in the company, as you can see from this quarter, but that it really reflects, where the market is today, which is a more measured buying environment. And certainly this an overall economic condition that we're in right now, but Salesforce continues to deliver the numbers, as you can see.
You disbanded the M&A committee, and M&A has been a huge part of your history and recent history. Does that mean no more M&A?
Emily, you're right. We've done some great acquisitions here in the company. So we've had some incredible success stories. MuleSoft is an amazing one. ExactTarget from almost 8 years ago in Indianapolis. It's why we're the biggest tech employer in Indiana. And of course, Tableau, the amazing business intelligence platform that's now integrated with our data cloud, and Slack, which I know that you use every day. And these are great acquisitions at Salesforce, but as we really focus on our performance, on our profitability, on the reprioritization back to being a core CRM company, it was really time to put the M&A committee on ice and just, mitigate what we've been doing with M&A and just focus more on our core. And it's part of the transformation that I've put into the company in the last 90 days. And it's one of the reasons why you're seeing these great numbers in the quarter.
Now, the criticism of activists is that sometimes when you look at the performance of their funds, it's not much better than the companies that they're targeting. When you look at these investors that you're working with, how are you thinking about whether you should even be taking their advice, whether you cave or compromise or stand your ground?
Well, Emily, it's hard to compare Salesforce to any other entity or equity because you know that since I took the company public in 2004, we've delivered more than 4,000, heading to 5,000, maybe more percent for our shareholders. So, I never compare myself to anyone else because our performance has been so incredible and it's been so widely recognized by the most important business entities all over the world. But I can learn from anyone. I maintain what the Japanese call shoshin, the beginner's mind. In a beginner's mind, you have every possibility, but in the expert's mind, you have few. And when you're dealing with folks like this, you have to have an open mind. You have to have an open heart, and you have to be ready to listen because you never know where a great idea, it can come from anywhere.
A lot of well-respected people have left the company, including your former co-CEO, Brett Taylor, Stuart Butterfield, the founder of Slack. What do you say to the folks who are worried about a talent drain, who are worried that maybe the company or maybe the person running it is the problem? And what is the succession plan going forward?
Well, you can take a look at the performance of the company to see how it's doing. And I don't think there is a software company with a better bench by product unit, by operating unit, by geography. And well, Emily, I guess I am the highest performing CEO of the last 2 decades. If that's your question, I guess you could ask Harvard or Yale to comment on that. I think you know the numbers yourself, and I'm teasing with you. But the reality is, Emily, is that we always take succession very seriously at Salesforce. I've always had a strong successor in place. That's a true statement. You follow the company very closely yourself. And that person, we have that person here at Salesforce, and we continue to develop and grow all of our talent. That's a core part of our mission.
We're actually getting headlines in from Elliott as we speak. They're saying they've been in very substantive dialogue with Salesforce, that the announcements today show progress. So they seem to be liking what they see. I want to ask you about another activist investor, Strive Asset Management. And you and I have talked about your passion for social causes for many years now. Strive is saying that you shouldn't be using Salesforce as a platform for social change, that, slamming the wokeness, if you will, of the company. How do you respond to that?
Look, Emily, I have my employees' backs, and some of these folks have political agendas, and that's very unfortunate. And you can see it when all of a sudden there's a level of discrimination that shows up in a state or a country, or by some action our employees did not warrant. And it's our job to be there to say, leave our employees alone, and that we will be there for them. We will always support them. We're going to do whatever we can for our entire employee base, our customers, our partners, or as you know the word very well, ohana, as being a Hawaiian yourself, that this means that we are there for everyone in our Salesforce family. And that doesn't suit everyone because there's folks who want their way in the world, and really we just want to make sure our employees get the love and respect and dignity that they deserve, and that is always our highest priority.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, we have Hawaii in common, and you've used that word ohana many times over the years, and you also have critics taking shots at you for using it at all. How do you think about balancing, not getting distracted from an activist fight, not losing what makes Salesforce and the Salesforce ohana, as you've called it, special as you go through this process?
Well, as someone who, I think you were born in Hawaii, right, Emily? Do I
born
remember
and
that?
Raised.
Well, how do you feel about it when I use the word ohana? Do you feel that that's appropriate and correct?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it, but I'm not an activist investor, so.
Well, I think that they're making a lot of money today, and I think that that's what they like. These people are money driven. They like to make money. That's what they do for a living. It's all they do. And that's great. That's appropriate. We also know that business can be the greatest platform for change, and there can be a higher purpose to your work, why you go to work, why you put so much time into your work. I know it's true for you that your work is a platform. Our work here is a platform as well. And we believe in work and business as a high purpose, and we're going to continue to add as much value that we can into the world and to support our local communities as well, whether it's our children's hospitals here in San Francisco, our public schools, our public parks. We believe that all of us are Ohana, and that our local communities, plus our employees and our customers and our partners, all of them are key stakeholders, and that we're trying to practice stakeholder capitalism. We think this is the true practice of business.
You mentioned Larry Ellison, of course, the founder of Oracle, is a mentor, and I remember the days when you were staunch competitors and more enemies than frenemies. I want to hear that story. Who called who? Are you having Mai Tais in Hawaii?
Well, yeah, we really have a lot of Hawaii commentary here. Larry owns the island of Lanai, so that's the connection there. And I would say that, I first went to work for Larry Ellison in 1986. He has been an incredible mentor to me, a friend. I couldn't be more grateful to him. One of the reasons that we're executing these great numbers is we are using Oracle's margin playbook. He has been mentoring me, just as he has for 40 years, on how to deliver great performance. I couldn't be more grateful to him and his entire team as well. They're great partners of Salesforce. They always have been. He is. And, whether he's my partner, whether he's my boss, whether he's my mentor, number one, he's my friend.
Now, still, when you look at the numbers, this could be the slowest year of growth for Salesforce ever, and you have been at this a long time. How do you think about getting growth back? How do you feel about, what we just heard from Elliot, that, they're liking so far what you see?
Well, who doesn't like what they see? We just delivered a 17% growth number, and we're delivering more than 10% growth this year, plus extraordinary margin growth. That is, we delivered over 4 points of margin this year, and 4.5 points of margin are projected for next year. There's a lot to love there, and the cash flow is just extraordinary, all while delivering record low attrition, which speaks to our customer success and our innovation. So there's a lot to love in these numbers, and all of our shareholders are obviously pleased today with what is going on. I am, certainly as one of our largest shareholders myself, and I think that's the most important thing, that we did it, not just great performance with great values, core values, and by not sacrificing who we are to make this happen.